stuck. And I'm sure there's some crabs if you look around, or if you lift some of these rocks and move them. You never know what you might find. Ooh, like right there, there's a crab. If you lift a rock, you might find yourself a little crabby.
You lifted up that rock?
Yeah. Just like I said I would. You move a rock, you might find yourself a crabby. He's going back into his shade. Sorry, Mr. Krabby. Good afternoon, everybody. It is July 29th or something like that, 2023, and we are here in Acadia National Park in Maine. So this morning we went up to Cadillac Mountain and got the views up at the top of the mountain. Also went to Bar Harbour really quick. And we've driven down the mountain now, and we've headed to Jordan Pond. And as you saw from the parking lot, there's no parking, so we just got dropped off here at the pond, and we're just gonna walk down and see it and look around a little bit while our driver looks for a parking spot. We drove around for about 10 minutes and saw maybe 2 cars leave, and it's just constant loops of cars, so it's just luck of the draw if you actually get a spot. Which they said Jordan Pond is like the most popular spot. It has a decent sized lot for Acadia, but it is quite small. Maybe 100 spots, maybe, probably not even. So just get in here and get some views of Jordan Pond and look around a little bit and see what we see. Here we go. Look at that view. No windsurfing or paddle boarding. So it looks like you can drop boats off here. Gotta walk your bikes apparently. There we go. Walk right up to the water. It's pretty warm in here. Fishies in the water. I don't know if you can see the little fishies. Look at that. Woo. So Cadillac Mountain, I believe, is just up there. I don't know if that's it or not, or part of it at least. Not the viewing spot. I can't see any people. But I believe that's part of Cadillac Mountain. Whew. Climb up here. Too wet. My shoes are too wet. It looks like you can put in some kayaks and kayak in here. And then there's hiking paths all around here. So there's a hiking loop that loops, and you can see these people over here on the path, but it does walk all the way across. You can go all the way around the lake and do that hike if you want, and then there's hikes off of it every direction. I think you could even go over that mountain and onto the other side if you want. So this, oh, oof. So that's Jordan Pond from here. I'm not gonna do a hike unless we get a parking spot, but let's go ahead and loop around here a little bit and just look around, and maybe we'll get a spot soon. So here we go. Drink in the view. Let me see if you can. Jordan Pond's waters nourish an array of life, including humans. Besides serving as a wildlife habitat, the lake Acadia's deepest at 150 feet, provides drinking water for nearby communities and Jordan Pond House, which I believe is just up this way. The water here is so clear that you can normally see into it at least 45 feet, or about 14 meters below the surface, making it the clearest lake in Maine. To safeguard the water's purity, wading, swimming, or any other body contact is not permitted. So stay on the shore and look for dragonflies, loons, brook trout, frogs, beavers, and eagles. Okay. It is quite clear. I don't see lake water quite this clear as you see right here. I mean, whew. Yeah, you're just never not gonna find much lake water that's this nice and clear. Cool. So we're gonna walk around a little bit more and see if we got a spot or not. And if we didn't, then probably hop back in the car and move on to the next hike. So stay with us, on to the next one. We'll see. So we just stopped back in Bar Harbour for lunch, and there's a little thing they were telling us about we could do from Bar Harbour to Bar Island, is walk across from Bar Harbour to Bar Island when the tide's low. So we had just parked our car here and realized we parked right where the walkway is. So right here you can see it is low tide, and you can walk across all the way to Bar Island. So I bet you if we walked this way, we could get down there. So maybe we'll look into that. Otherwise, me and Rebecca will do that on a separate trip because we're planning on coming back here. Let's see. So we're walking to Bar Island, and all it is there's a pathway up here. So it's on looks like Bridge Street. Up here this is Bridge Street, but you see a sign here. It says Bar Island Path this way. So we're gonna head down here, down this hill, and right onto the pathway. And we're not the only ones. Let's go. So it's really about, they said about an hour and a half before low tide and an hour and a half after low tide you can get across. Other than that, you can't get across. And there are tidal pools and things like that, so you can kind of go around and look and see if you can find any little critters in the tide pools. So let's go ahead and get down here and I'll see what we see here on the path. So high tide will leave you stranded. Safely cross an hour and a half before or after low tide. If stranded, the low tide is the next 9 hours. So if you get over there and you miss the tides and the tide comes up, you're swimming, or you have to wait 9 hours. 9 hours at this point would be like 11 o'clock at night. So you don't want to get stranded over there. Yeah, here we are. Look at that. You can go quite a ways here out, and you can see some kids way out over here. Wow.
That's good. Coming off that water.
Wow. Looks like they got some type of kayaking here. So you can walk all the way across that island. I can see some people over there. I don't know that we'll do that today or not, but you can. And you can explore the island, or you can explore the tide pools, which is what I'm going to do. See if we can find any critters. You're standing on the bottom of the ocean. Screw you, James Cameron. So we're walking around here and we're just seeing a lot of snails. You can see some mussel shells and things like that, but like lots of like snail shells right here. Got a little snail. Oh, there's a little crabby right by my finger. I didn't even notice. Oh, he's dead though. Yeah, it's just a crab shell.
Snap.
Yeah. See, there's a snail here. You can see he's got sucked onto this little rock right there. So lots of these little snails everywhere. There's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. So the snails don't make it out. They just kind of sit it out. Can't really see. You see mussel shells, but I don't see live mussels in these pools here. I don't see any little fishies either, but I'm sure at time to time they do get stuck. And I'm sure there's some crabs if you look around, or if you lift some of these rocks and move them. You never know what you might find. Ooh, like right there, there's a crab. If you lift a rock, you might find yourself a little crabby.
You lifted up that rock?
Yeah. Just like I said I would. You move a rock, you might find yourself a crabby. He's going back into his shade. Sorry, Mr. Krabby. Yeah. Oh, that's back down. You can get underneath there. Didn't mean to disrupt the Mr. Krabby. I didn't actually think there's going to be one under there. What are the chances? Lift a rock, you might find just something. Let's test our luck and see. Nothing under there. It's like a snail with a bigger shell here. See, he's alive. Let's put him back under there. All sorts of little critters if you look. Just gotta lift some rocks. You can see there's seabirds all over here. Hermit crab? Oh yeah, there's a hermit crab. A couple of them. There's one there and one there. Pretty cool. More little critters. Got some big snails stuck to that rock. A little crabby, I think, under there. What kind of creature we got here? Oh yeah, some type of anemone or something. Oh, he sprayed at us. Whoa. Got that on film. He did not like us. Sorry, buddy. Guess we should probably put his rock back. He was not too happy. Okay. So, I think we're done flipping rocks and looking in these pools. It's a pretty sweet little spot, especially you'll notice a lot of kids. This is perfect for kids because the water is so low they can play around in the low pools and just flip rocks and look for crabs and whatever and have fun. So very cool little spot. So I think we've got one more hike we're going to do today, so we'll get to going to that. We're going to head back up to our car, but think we'll probably be back here the next time we come to Acadia, a little bit later in the summer. So let's head on back to the car and get to our next hike. So here we are at the sand beach. We were again not able to find a parking spot because we're here in July. Even on I think it was a Friday. So a lot of people here, pretty popular. So you see a lot of people just doing the spin through the parking lot trying to find parking, and it's just not available. But we do have these buses, so you can do that. We didn't get much information on them, but they really need to just get a lot more buses here for the summers, because it's just there's no places to park. Right as we got through the gates to the park up here, there was people parked as soon as we got through the gate, and that was it. Like, we found 1 or 2 spots right away. We probably should have got in them, and we didn't, but it's a one-way road. We couldn't go back, so my dad just drove up the road further, and oh, there he is. He got back, so he must not have got too far. So he drove up the road and found a spot further up, and then walked back here. And now we're gonna go hit up Sandy Beach, and the plan is to head to Thunder Hole. So we're gonna walk along the coast here down to Thunder Hole, see Thunder Hole, and then we'll probably head back to the car and maybe do a little drive around the island. We'll see how much time we got from there. So let's go ahead and get a little quick look at this beach here. So Maine does have beaches, and this is a amazing looking beach. You can see real blue water. I guess the warning would be on the beach is that it looks like a normal beach, but you're in Maine, so the water is still pretty cold if you're not from Maine and you're not used to it. Here, look, the water here is wicked cold. That's how you know you're in the Northeast. It's as low as 55 Fahrenheit in August, 13 Celsius. So it could be really cold. So don't be thinking if you're from a warmer destination, you could come here and just jump in the water and you're gonna feel nice. It's gonna be cold. So let's go ahead and find the walking path, and we'll start our trail. Okay, so we found our parking spot in the second lot. There happened to be a second lot up the road, and we're following Ocean Path to Thunder Hole, so 0.7 mile. So we're gonna go ahead and do that up this path, just 3/4 of a mile, and get to Thunder Hole. I think we're just still coming out of low tide, so I don't know how great it's gonna be. Hopefully by the time we get there it should be a little bit better, because when we were at the beach at the sandbar back in Bar Harbour, that was the lowest tide, just coming out of it. So it's been maybe half hour, 45 minutes, so maybe another half hour the water will be high enough that the Thunder Hole will still be something to see. Either way, it's just going to get better and better. It is a scorcher out here. It's only low 80s, but the sun does hit hard here, especially when you're out here and exposed. So don't take Maine for wimps. So with the heat, it's just a different kind of heat. It is a lot more humid here than most places, so if you're not used to humidity, it does feel quite hot. Yeah. So we've just been hiking along this Park Loop road here where it's one way, and you know, parking everywhere is pretty tough, but on Park Loop Road where it's one way, as you can see, you can park on the right hand lane. So on this portion here along the trails, well, I think it's Ocean Path Trail, future Kyle will fix me if I'm wrong, Ocean Path Trail going to the Thunder Hole. You can park later on this, and this trail is right here that we're on. This is the trail, so anywhere along here, if you wanted to get to Thunder Hole, if you want to get to the beach, it's just 3/4 of a mile back that way. If you want to get to the other point, it's about 1.5 miles total. So anywhere along this road, if you hit somewhere in the middle, you're 3/4 of a mile one way, 3/4 of a mile the other, you can get there.
No, back.
So actually I wouldn't worry about parking so much on this road. It's just whether you want to get to and from quickly, or if you're okay to do some walking. And then along this path, you can see there's some people in here. Some great views if you go in on some of these paths onto the beach. So just a tip. Look, here's another parking lot. So there is some parking here on this portion of the path, as you can see. And there's some spots available. It's just, you gotta walk this way, or you gotta walk that way, one or the other. So we're going to continue on to Thunder Hole. I think we're more than halfway there already, not too far, and hopefully we'll get to hear the Thunder Hole and the water's up high enough to still be something. Made it here to the Thunder Hole. So as you can see here, down there is where the Thunder Hole is, and basically what the Thunder Hole is the water comes in and there is a cave there, and when a wave hits the cave, it makes this big thunderous sound, thus the Thunder Hole. So water looks slightly low. Like people are waiting to hear it. Doesn't look like we have a lot of waves coming, so I'm gonna head down and see if we get a little closer, see if we can hear any sound, just see what it looks like. It's either way, it's a cool looking spot. So the walk to the Thunder Hole from the beach is almost completely flat the whole way. It's like a worn trail, so you don't have to worry about anything. If you're able to move around pretty well at all, you should be able to make it. As you can see down in here, this is part of it. Probably gets water in there when it's high tide, which currently it is not. Let's get down and see if we can find a spot here. So that would be the Thunder Hole, but we're just not getting any waves right now. Let's see if we get up here. You can see some of these tide pools in here you can get into, kind of like we did in Bar Harbour. Ooh. So there we go, you can see into the Thunder Hole. Goes back quite a ways from what you can tell. Just don't have the waves for it yet. And maybe we have to wait for the water to come up a little higher for it. Well, it looks like Thunderhole not quite up high enough. More like a thunder clunk right now. Maybe in another hour or so it'll be up high enough. I think it'd need at least an hour, maybe even 2. So unfortunately, it's a cool little spot, but not the timing, not quite right for us. So we're gonna see if we want to hang out for a little bit or just head back to the car, maybe see some other things. So we hung out at the Thunder Hole for another 15-20 minutes, trying to see if it would go up, because it seemed to, like, the water was getting a little rougher. There wasn't a whole lot of waves. So we checked tide charts again, and we're still another hour or 2 before it really gets up high. So the Thunder Hole really wasn't as good as we were hoping. We did hear a few thunks when we got lucky. The tides would, or the waves would hit just right. We'd get a good thunk and stuff like that. Maybe hear a little bit of the thunder that they're talking about. I wasn't able to catch it on video. So I guess that'll be something I have to hit up the next time we come out. So we're gonna be in Maine for another 6-7 weeks. So we've got, it's only about a 3-hour drive from us, so should be able to make it out here again and do some of the other stuff out here. Only so much you can do in a day. I feel like if you're gonna stay here, you need at least 2 days to do it well, 3 days to do it comfortably.
They said we're not sure
So
about these.
we're gonna go ahead and head back to the car, and I don't know if we're gonna do anything from there or if we're just gonna drive around the rest of the coast
All but one.
and see some views along the way. We'll see.
I got my money back.
So we're back to the car, and we're gonna go ahead and start on our way out of the park. We're gonna continue the one way on the loop all the way out and around and follow the coast out, and then if we see anything on the way, we'll stop. So you'll see that. If we don't see anything, we won't stop. So I'll wrap it up here unless you see me later. So make sure you if you like the video, hit the like button now, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and leave us a comment. Say, hey, you made it all the way to the end, and I'll give you congratulations. Until then, we'll see you in the next one.